5 things you must do to become unfazed. In the chaos of life, where storms rage and the ground beneath us shifts, there exists a path to becoming unshakable. A path not forged by external power, but by the mastery of the self. This is the way of the Stoic, a way that demands courage, discipline, and an unyielding commitment to inner peace. To become unfazed is not to become numb or indifferent. It is to rise above the turbulence of life with clarity, strength, and purpose. Here are 5 things we must do to walk this path. Separate what is within your control from what is not. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not." Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever is of our own doing. This is the foundation of Stoicism, the understanding that we cannot control the external world, but we can always control our response to it. When we waste energy on what we cannot change, the opinions of others, the past, the weather, we surrender our power. But when we focus on what is ours to command, our thoughts, our actions, our values, we reclaim it. This is not a passive act. It is an active choice to direct our energy where it matters most. Ask yourself daily, what is mine to control? And then act with intention. Consider the story of a ship caught in a storm. The captain cannot control the wind or the waves, but he can adjust the sails and steer the ship. In the same way, we cannot control the external events that buffet us, but we can control how we navigate through them. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, to focus on what is within our power and let go of what is not. Second, train your mind to see obstacles as opportunities. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote in his Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the Stoic art of turning adversity into advantage. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of pain is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When life throws us into the fire, we do not burn, we are forged. The obstacle is not the enemy, it is the teacher. The loss of a job, the betrayal of a friend, the failure of a dream. These are not curses, but invitations to rise. Embrace them. Let them shape you. For it is through struggle that we discover our true strength. Think of the story of Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Each failure was not a defeat, but a lesson. Each obstacle was not a barrier, but a stepping stone. This is the Stoic mindset, to see every challenge as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become better. 3. Practice negative visualization. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It is the practice of imagining the worst-case scenarios, not to dwell in fear, but to prepare ourselves for life's uncertainties. Seneca, the great Stoic thinker, advised, "He who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive." By visualizing loss, failure, and hardship, we inoculate ourselves against the shock of their arrival. We realize that even in the darkest moments we can endure, we can adapt, we can find meaning. This practice does not make us pessimistic. It makes us unbreakable. It reminds us that nothing is permanent, and that our peace does not depend on external circumstances. Imagine a soldier preparing for battle. He does not fear the fight because he has trained for it. He has visualized every possible outcome and prepared for each one. In the same way, we can prepare for the battles of life by visualizing the worst and planning our response. This is not about expecting the worst, but about being ready for anything. 4. Cultivate apathy in the Stoic sense. To the Stoics, apathy does not mean indifference. It means freedom from destructive emotions. It is the state of being unmoved by the passions that cloud judgment and weaken resolve. Anger, envy, fear, and desire, these are the chains that bind us. To break free, we must master our emotions, not by suppressing them, but by understanding their roots. As the Stoic philosopher Chrysippus taught, emotions are not caused by events, but by our judgments about events. When we feel anger, it is not because someone has wronged us, but because we have judged their actions as wrong. When we feel fear, it is not because of the danger itself, but because we have judged the danger as insurmountable. By changing our judgments, we change our emotions, and by changing our emotions, we change our lives. Consider the story of a man who is insulted by a stranger. He feels anger because he judges the insult as a personal attack. But if he changes his judgment, if he sees the insult as a reflection of the stranger's own insecurities, he can let go of the anger. This is the Stoic art of emotional mastery, to change our judgments and free ourselves from destructive emotions. 5. Live in accordance with nature. The Stoics believed that to live a good life is to live in harmony with nature, both the nature of the world and our own human nature. This means accepting the impermanence of all things, embracing our role in the greater whole, and striving to live virtuously. Virtue, to the Stoics, is the highest good. It is not about being perfect, but about being aligned with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. When we live virtuously, we become unshakable, not because we are immune to suffering, but because we understand that suffering is part of the human experience. We do not run from it. We face it with dignity. Think of the story of a tree that bends in the wind, but does not break. It does not resist the wind, it adapts to it. In the same way, we can adapt to the challenges of life by living in accordance with nature. We can accept the impermanence of all things, embrace our role in the greater whole, and strive to live virtuously. This is the Stoic way, to live with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. The unfazed mind. To become unfazed is not to escape the storms of life, but to stand firm within them. It is to look chaos in the eye and say, "You cannot break me." This is the Stoic way, a way of strength, of clarity, of unyielding resolve. We are not born unfazed. We become it. Through discipline, through practice, through the relentless pursuit of self-mastery. The path is not easy, but it is worth it. For on the other side of fear, anger, and despair lies a peace that cannot be shaken, a peace that is ours to claim. So let us begin. Let us take control of what is ours. Let us turn obstacles into opportunities. Let us prepare for the worst, but strive for the best. Let us free ourselves from destructive emotions, and let us live in accordance with nature, with virtue, with purpose. This is the way, and it is ours to walk. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius.